Let us take a step back and actually reflect on what we know right now. So in the previous slides, we were teaching you to identify information that you need to extract from your transcript into your meeting minutes. The next section, we are going to focus on teaching you the language that you need to use when writing your meeting minutes. Okay. We need to remember that minutes are a formal record and should be written in a way that accurately reflects the proceedings while being accessible to a broad audience. And if we follow these guidelines, it will help us use language in a manner that is effective and serves its purpose. Okay. So the first thing that we need to discuss is the tone. Make sure that you use a formal and professional tone throughout the minutes. You must also write in an objective and neutral manner, avoiding personal opinions or biases. Make sure that you use language that is straightforward and easy to understand. You must avoid using technical terms that may not be familiar to all participants. In terms of the tense, make sure that you use past tense because you are describing events that had already taken place. Okay. You must make sure that you use active voice for clarity and directness. For example, you must write the committee decided to instead of a decision was made by the committee to. If you look at the two statements, the second one is longer than the first one. Okay. So try to avoid using passive and instead use active. Okay, so when someone is reading your work, they must not be confused, okay? So be precise in your language to minimize any ambiguity. Clearly state who is responsible for what action. You need to be concise and focus on the key points. In terms of the discussions, make sure that you summarize the discussions without unnecessary details, okay? Okay. These, I think, are the key things to be mindful of when you're writing your meeting minutes. If you've been following our tutorial series, you should be in a position to identify key information from a transcript. You should also be in a position to understand the type of language that you are expected to use when compiling your meeting minutes. The only thing that we haven't addressed so far is the structure of your assignment or the structure of your minutes. Remember, we did not actually explain what they meant by linear format of minutes, and that is the subject of the next slide. So in the context of meeting minutes, a linear format refers to a straightforward and chronological recording of discussions, decisions, and actions taken during a meeting. Since you now understand what is meant by linear format, I am sure it is clear that you must present your information in the order in which events occurred during the meeting. Therefore, in your paragraph 1, that is where you are going to summarize how the topic was presented or was introduced. That is where you are going to provide background information. This is typically given by the person who introduced the topic, or they might sometimes invite others to provide additional information. In terms of this assignment, this is where we are going to get the summary of what Ms. Botha presented. Okay. Paragraph 2 is typically where the discussion starts. This is where members in the meeting starts to engage. This is where they put forth their proposals, and depending on the number of people or the topic being discussed, proposals can be captured in several paragraphs. For example, you can capture information about proposals in paragraph 2 and paragraph 3 and paragraph 4 and so on. Okay, or in case you manage to capture the information in 2 paragraphs, okay, then you'll move on to paragraph 4. This is typically where the member starts to make decisions based on the proposals made above. Okay, so here you will capture information about
the decisions that were taken in the meeting. You will also include a summary of the action items, okay? So you'll outline specific tasks or actions assigned to individuals. If the deadlines are provided, you'll also include the deadlines, okay? Then once you're done with that paragraph, you'll move on to the next paragraph. This is where you are going to highlight any plans for follow-up or future meetings, okay, before you write your closing remarks. Okay, so I just went through the entire table in less than 2 minutes. I will expand on this as we do the actual assignment, because I'm going to take you through the entire process.